Hi, I'm back and I'm gonna answer some of your questions raised by my Professor Yumeir. The question is in total five, and I'm gonna answering them one by one. So the first question is about my background and the reason why I chose this project. Yes, my undergraduate major was in electronical engineering, where I worked as a project related to spread spectrum digital array radar multiplexing coding technology, which involved using the MATLAB Simulink to simulate those concepts. The abstract page can be found from the left side. The project is just as complex as its name suggests. Here is a small part of my project. You can find a binary single signal being processed and transmitted. Despite completing the project, I realized that I struggled in this area, and to be honest, integrating radar systems with computer science isn't easy to achieve. Radar technology tends to interact more seamlessly with the hardwares, like antenna and electromagnetic waves, which limits my ability to combine computer science with electronics. On the other side, I have always wanted to be a web developer, so I chose a web-oriented project. During the project kickoff, I came across the idea of a pet adoption website, which I found to be a meaningful one, and the attempt turns out to be great. This project allowed me to learn new technologies such as JavaScript and HTML, and I gained valuable experience in the web development. The second question is about some special features in my website. Yes, I believe my website offers several unique features that are typically missing from the other similar platforms. Firstly, my website allows users to report stray animals and provide temporary shelters for them. This helps alleviate the overcrowding of official shelters and empowers the community to contribute to animal welfare directly. Additionally, my website provides a feature where adopters can return the pets they have adopted if they find themselves unable to care for them. For example, illness or house moving. This function helps ensure that animals can be safely returned and be rehomed, reducing the risk of neglect or abandonment. These features made my website not only a platform for web pet adoption, but also a comprehensive solution to improve the welfare of stray animals. This question is about my development model and the changes made to user requirements. Yes, I followed an agile development model and I used Trello to manage my sprints. By applying the Moscow prioritization and sprint planning. The project is divided into small pieces and easy to operate. And also, yes, to the question, I did frequently change the user requirements, but it happened mostly during the week 4 to week 6, where I found there were too many functionalities I want to implement, but it's impossible to finish those on time. So, as it can be seen from here, the backlog contains some unable to finish requirements. These tasks were moved to the backlog due to their high time complexity. I reduced the priority of features that were more complex and time-consuming than my initial thoughts. Additionally, some of the changes were to incorporating the feedback. These are two drafts I made when I had a meeting with Email. I adjusted and refined the requirements based on valuable feedback from my supervisor email and other users. For question 4, this question is about the testing strategies and error handling techniques I employed. As it's shown here, the testing strategies can be divided into two phases, the pre-deployment phase and the post-deployment. The error handling techniques are listed here too. So, in the pre-deployment phase, testing includes unit tests, or the unit testing were conducted on the service level. It's to test if individual components or functions are working as intended. User acceptance testing is conducted by 5 cases. One of them can be seen from here. This testing is evaluating the system's functionality by the end user to ensure it meets their requirements. Full user experience testing is conducted through a questionnaire. The purpose is to accessing the product from the user's perspective to enhance the usability and satisfaction. And in the post-deployment stage, testing involves smoke testing and monitoring the software after it has been deployed to the production environment. The smoke testing is a preliminary test to check the basic functionality of the software. The monitoring and data analysis is for continuous observing the system's performance and analyzing data to detect and address any issues. This graph shows the number of concurrent connections to an ECS over a specific period. This data suggests that while there are spikes in usage, the ECS is generally handling a steady amount of concurrent connections. The error handling is implemented mainly by structured exception handling and logging alerts. In my project, I have used a try-catch block to handle any exceptions that might occur during this process. If the response from the server indicates success with a state code of 200, the data is processed normally. However, if the error occurs, a catch block is triggered, logging a detailed error message in the console and displaying an alert to the user. Error handling is also managed through the result code enum clause, which defines specific error codes and messages for various scenarios. For instance, if a user attempts to log in with incorrect credentials, the system triggers a user account error, which corresponds to the message incorrect account or password. This helps the user quickly understand the issue and take corrective action. And the last question is about the problem. Yeah, it is a problem. As you may said here, the current setup where the admin handles all pet additions from different shelters indeed creates a significant overhead. This centralized approach not only strengthens the admin but also makes the process inefficient. To address this, we propose implementing a role-based access control system supplemented by access control list. This approach allows us to delegate specific responsibilities to different roles like subadmins, thereby distributing the workload more evenly. As the role hierarchy diagram illustrates, at the top we have the admin, who has full access to all models and settings. This role is essential for overall management and important decisions making. Next, we have the subadmin. This role is designed to manage shelter-specific data and interact with users directly related to their shelter. By creating this intermediary role, we significantly reduce the admin's workload, allowing them to focus on higher-level tasks while ensuring that shelter-specific tasks are handled by those closer to the operations. Lastly, we have the users and volunteers who have basic view-only access. They interact with the system primarily for viewing public data and managing their user profiles. This clear separation of roles ensures that each user has access only to what they need. The access control chart shows clearly about the role and accessibility. Finally, this diagram represents our role-based access control system architecture. It visually demonstrates how different roles interact with the system's models. As you can see, the admin has full access to all models, database, system settings, shelter management, and user management, reflecting their comprehensive oversight capabilities. Subadmins, however, are restricted to the shelter management model. This model contains all the tools they need to manage the shelter's data and interact with users who are involved in shelter activities. They don't have the access to broader system setting or databases, ensuring a secure and focused management environment. Users and volunteers are limited to the user management model. where they can manage their profiles and view public information. This restriction prevents unauthorized access to sensitive data, maintaining the integrity and security of the system. By implementing this architecture, we ensure that responsibility are appropriately distributed, overhead is reduced, and each user has the necessary access to perform their functions effectively. That's all for the question. Thank you for watching.